Hey folks, welcome. Here we discuss real stories by real people. Today we have the story of a man who left his wife because she became a sex-obsessed pervert. Let's see how it goes. Story 1. Me, 29 male, and my wife, 28, were actually in high school. We've been together for 10 years. We were each other's first everything, first couple, first kiss, etc. We got married the year after we graduated. We moved into a house together, and then real life began. Things started getting weird. I don't really know why this started, but my wife started reading those trashy romance novels that you see in places like airports and other places. Shifter romance and rich bondage. 50 Shades of Grey kind of stuff. I would just joke about them with her sometimes, and she would say they were her guilty pleasure. Well, she started getting more proud of them as time went by. Proud as if she's not ashamed of them or doesn't consider them a guilty pleasure anymore. Now, they're real reading material, and she expects me to partake in them. I tried, as embarrassing as that is to say, to read them, and they're just schlock. Anyway, I stopped making fun of them since she was getting really defensive and I didn't feel like starting a fight. Well, after a while, my wife wanted to start changing it up in the bedroom. At first this was okay. It was really minor stuff like some handcuffs, some roleplay, stuff like that. What happened first was that the roleplay changed. She wanted me to act out characters from certain books, which meant that I had to go and read the books before the night came. I had to do research to F my wife. But whatever, okay, that's a minor annoyance. Then she wanted us to get into BDSM bondage, like the ropes and leather and all that stuff. I'm not into it. I think it's weird and I don't get it. I tried, but it's not for me. I still did what she wanted because, hey, happy wife, happy life. But this was where the line was getting towed. Then we had this big fight, and I still think that I'm in the right here. My wife comes up to me and tells me that she wants to try something new in the bedroom. This is like the 5th time this particular conversation has come up. I said, okay, what did you have in mind? She asked me if it would be okay if we brought someone else into the bedroom. I asked her what she meant. At this time, I thought she was asking for a threesome. She was not. Instead, she was asking if she could bring in another guy to be the bull while I was the cuckold. What the F, dude? I said no. That conversation was over and I completely shut it down. Not interested. We fought it out over what's been happening with her. She's been turning into a weird effing person ever since she started reading those romance novels. It's not just that she wants me to turn into a literal cuckold, still a big effing issue by the way, but she's been falling more and more into this weird sex shit. It's not just in the bedroom at this point, by the way. She acts like a porn character in public too. It's constant. She overtly flirts with me in public. She makes constant obscene jokes, and she's just being annoying all the time. Maybe it's fine every so often, but it's like every single hour of every single day. I've had multiple people come up to me and ask me if my wife is drunk at parties and social gatherings, because she just acts unhinged all the damn time and won't stop. She got mad at me for kink shaming and not letting her express herself. But like, how is not wanting to watch my wife F someone else a kink shame? What does that even mean to her? She's absolutely screaming at me that I'm not accommodating to her, when I've done everything she has asked of me up until this point. I eventually just told her that it's not happening, and that I'm not entertaining her porn-addled mind anymore. When I said that, she and I stopped speaking to each other for a week. Finally, my wife and I sit down and talk. I tell her that the thing she's been asking me to do has been making me feel uncomfortable, but I went on with it because I wanted her to be happy. I tried to explain that I feel like she's been acting out and negatively impacting herself and people around her. I still wanted to be with her, and I would do some of the things she wanted, but there were lines I would not cross. She replies that she's been feeling really stressed out and she's been looking for an outlet ever since. The bedroom stuff has just been for her to express herself, and she didn't mean for it to be invasive or embarrassing for me. We agreed to put it behind us, and I figured that maybe a break from our day-to-day would be a good decision. My wife excitedly suggested an overseas trip, and I said okay. Since we just had this heart-to-heart, I figured that everything would be fine if I left all the planning to her. Everything was not fine. We had decided to take a trip to Jamaica for 2 weeks. Beaches, parties, drinks, sounds great. We got to our hotel and just relaxed for a couple days. We met this other married couple at the bar who were older than us, I think in their 50s or 60s, and we hit it off. They seemed like a really cool couple. I'm sitting at the bar with the husband, and I'm a bit drunk, and I just start talking about what's been going on. He tells me that he felt the same way in their relationship when he was younger, and that the yearly trip they make to Jamaica really helped out, especially because of the event. I ask him what he means about the event. As it turns out, right around the time that we arrived at our hotel, there was a swingers event that went on for 2 weeks. How convenient. Well, I confronted my wife about it. Of course she knew and planned it. What little faith I had was quickly shattered. She begged me not to ruin the vacation and to just try it out. I told her okay, and that we would try it out when I'm ready. I was lying. Instead, I booked the earliest flight home. Lucky me, it was 2 days away, and I went back home as soon as I could. I even left some of my stuff behind because I just wanted to get the F out of there as soon as possible. As I'm boarding the plane, I call my wife and tell her that I no longer want to be with her, and I'm not interested in anything about her anymore. The divorce got finalized today, and I'm so glad this chapter of my life is over. Your wife changed a lot over the years, OP. Change is normal in human life, but unfortunately, you didn't have that kind of change. I can imagine how hard it must have been for you to keep trying out the things she wanted to try sexually when you had little to no interest in them. Divorcing her was a smart decision to make. She was going to go out and look for someone who would give her everything you can't do sooner or later. So it only makes sense to end everything now before it gets too late. Good luck, OP. Story 2. Throwaway here. I just found out about this yesterday. We're in our late 20s. I'm still kind of in a state of shock. It occurred in June 2013. We got married in September 2012, but we were together for 7 or 8 years before that. Wall of text to follow. The incident according to her. She went to the bar with a few friends in the evening. The guy was a friend of someone in their group who was already at said bar. She had been introduced to him before, so he was not a stranger to her, but certainly no more than an acquaintance. A friend of a friend. When the night came to end, this guy asked her for a ride since his place was on the way home for her, to which she obliged. She admits that she was not drunk, but was probably over the legal limit, i.e. buzzed. They pull up at his place and he makes a move, kissing her and putting his hand up her skirt. He invites her in, she goes in. He continues his advances once they're inside. As things are progressing and clothes come off, she tells him she shouldn't do this, that she should go home. He doesn't respond and instead goes to the other side of the room and gets a condom. She reiterates that she wants to leave and that she can't do this. He gets on top of her. Once it's over, she says nothing aside from a quick goodbye. Has not seen or spoken to him since. Drive home and showered and went to bed. Says she felt dirty, guilty, and ashamed. She states that she's afraid to see him. I am, of course, very upset. The feeling of betrayal and loss of trust is the worst. She doesn't know if the incident qualifies as rape. She went into the house willingly, so she thinks it's her fault. I told her that going inside was not consent to sex, although it certainly suggests she was open to continuing whatever was going on in the car. I'm not so much angry as I'm deeply saddened. It was a one-time thing. It was not premeditated. She feels terrible about it, and alcohol was involved. None of these are excuses, but it's a bit mitigating. It's not like she posted an ad on Craigslist or something. There was one other incident like 5 years ago when she got really drunk at a party and made out with some dude. I forgave her then, but told her it was not something I was prepared to tolerate again. I don't know if this counts as her being raped or not. I certainly don't think she's innocent. Only if she had pushed him off in the car could I grant her that. But she stated more than once that she didn't want to continue and wanted to leave. If she was raped, should I encourage her to go to the police? Should I demand it? Is there a statute of limitations on that sort of thing? What is that process like? My gut reaction was to find this asshole and hurt him, but I'm trying to be rational and not do anything stupid. Cheating is a whole other can of worms. Can I forgive her for this ultimate breach of trust? We just built a house and moved in early September. Were on the brink of starting to try and get pregnant soon. Should I forsake everything we've worked towards? Can I ever trust her again? Any advice on these matters would be much appreciated. OP, so we're all in agreement that she cheated. That's a done deal. But if she at any point said no, then whatever else follows is rape, period. She has the right to change her mind. She has the right to decide if she doesn't want to. Entering his home doesn't give him access to her in whatever way he wants. No is a no, regardless of the relationship status of the person involved. Also, I want to point out that she gains nothing by telling you this. Nothing. She didn't say he raped her and that's how it all happened. She owned that she went along with it up until sex was there. Then she said no. There's no way that this isn't cheating. The only thing she gets from this would be that you know she was raped. That's it. You can be mad. I would be. But in the end, she did not consent. That's rape. Now for some comments. If her account is true, then yes, she was raped. It wouldn't hold up in court as far as I'm concerned. Age of the case, lack of evidence, initial acceptance of indirect proposal for sex. But don't listen to Reddit rapes apologists saying, well, she should have fought the guy if she didn't want sex. It's up to you whether you think the relationship can continue. I'm married. Since then, I've never made out with another man. She's a cheating type. She uses alcohol as her excuse. Since you put your foot down last time it happened, she knew she needed to create a sympathetic story this time. Sorry, I'm not buying her story. And I think she only came clean because he's a friend of a friend and is worried you might hear about it somehow. As a married woman who doesn't F around on my husband, this story makes zero sense. She's not a monogamous type. She made a series of decisions to cheat on you. Changing her mind at the last minute, maybe, doesn't mitigate that. First and foremost, you need to decide if you can spend the rest of your life never fully being able to trust her ever again. Alcohol is absolutely no excuse. She fully knew what she was doing. I understand the emotional attachment, but were I in your shoes, I'd be helping her pack her things. As for the question of rape, it certainly meets the definition, but will be almost impossible to prove. At the very least, you should encourage her to file a police report, so that they have this on the record the next time the guy tries something with someone else.